We are getting our first look at the man suspected of abducting 3 women and keeping them captive for 10 years. Arraigned this morning on both kidnapping and rape charges, these 3 girls, all taken separately between the years of 2002 and 2004. But now the family of a 4th missing Cleveland teenager, well, they are hoping for a miracle as well. Ashley Summers, she disappeared in July of 2007. She was 14 years old at the time. She vanished from the same neighborhood as the other 3 women. Steve Kardian is the former chief investigator in New York City and the director of defenduniversity.com. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, Heather.
So investigators came out yesterday and they point blank said that they have no evidence that Summers is a 4th victim, but that there may be a lot that we still do not know. In your opinion, what do you think the chances are that she is yet another victim of this Ariel Castro?
Well, there's still yet a lot to come out in this investigation. We see the commonalities. She's from the same neighborhood. We see that she's within that age group. She fits that soft target profile. So there still is hope. We've had three miracles. I think that there's perhaps a chance for another one. We have things that don't match up, which are that she did have some sort of a family problem with her great uncle. We see that she did leave with some clothing, but very interestingly is that the family received a phone call about a month later, and they later came up with some information that may lend it towards this suspect.
And let's explain that for people, because I wasn't aware of this until I was doing a little bit of research today. Briefly after her disappearance, the family received this phone call. They believed it to be her voice. She said, "I'm fine," hung up. So the sister went to authorities. They went through the phone records. Are there any numbers that you don't recognize? One of the numbers came up with the name Castro.
Interesting piece of evidence. Law enforcement still has the ability to retrieve and review those records. So that could be a very valuable piece of information.
In terms of where she disappeared, Ashley's abduction, it happened within a mile and a half of where Barry and De Jesus were last seen. Also, it is only 3.5 miles from Ariel Castro's home.
We can't disregard the close proximity. We can't disregard the other factors that relate to her being one of those chosen victims. So the chances are law enforcement is going to look very deeply into this. They're going to concentrate and focus their investigation on the victims, the suspect, the home, other crime scenes, but they're also going to look for other victims as well.
And speaking of other victims, there are a lot of missing cases going on right now in the Cleveland area, and we actually have a map that we can show some of that. The Northeast Ohio Missing Persons Database, they published this. It includes 96 names, missing people as of midday on Tuesday. 3 of those have been reported missing more than 10 years, but new reports, they come out daily.
And you know, we see in law enforcement we see a lot of people go missing. We also locate a lot of people. This case is very rare. The mere fact that they were abducted, that they're alive 10 years, 12 years later is amazing.
But what about the fact that they were right there in the neighborhood? They were still there and no one found them.
Law enforcement's going to learn a lot from this case. We have to take a closer look at each and every instance in which we have contact with the public, looking for things out of the ordinary to try and identify hotspots like this where people have been abducted.
Do you expect additional charges? We have to go, but additional charges
Absolutely.
to come?
Absolutely. The charges are forthcoming. They're going to be heavy.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We
Pleasure.
appreciate your insight.
Thank you, Heather.